Hey, it's Kevin DeWitt here. Welcome to another 10-minute mix challenge. This mix challenge is automation. So far we have done the preparation, we've done the volume and panning, we've done the EQ and compression, and we've done the reverb and delay. So now we need to start to automate because, as you would know with the volume and panning, that works great in certain spots where all of your instruments and vocals, etc., are in the exact right place, but that generally doesn't stay that way through an entire song. Now, to do this in 10 minutes is going to be very tight, so my suggestion to you is that you're not going to get all the automation done, but I would suggest you look for the main elements and go for what is critical. Okay, that's what we want to do in these 10-minute challenges. We want to look for the critical items that are going to do the major components of your mix. Okay, the fine details can come later after the challenges. We want to get maximum results within 10 minutes from this. So no point fiddling around with something you can barely hear when you've got major obvious things to look at. Okay, so that's what you want to do, and it's going to be very tight, this automation one. So it's going to be a great challenge, and it's going to take a little bit because, to go through the song and try and work out what's what. But hopefully, as you've been doing these challenges, you've probably gotten to know the song and you've gotten to hear where things are. So hopefully now you'll get an understanding of maybe where you need to target things. So again, like the other ones, I'm just going to go through and do it. I'm not going to be doing any talking, and I'm just going to concentrate on doing it. I'm going to have a timer set for 10 minutes, and as soon as the timer goes off, I will be stopping. So let's get started.
Down on the ground and all the way up. You pick me up, make me feel good, make me feel good when no one else could. Cause when I feel down, you pick me up. When I feel down, you pick me up. Down on the ground and all the way up. You pick me up, you make me feel good, make me feel good when no one else could. When I feel down, you pick me up. Down on the ground and all the way up. You pick me up, you make me feel good, make me feel good when no one else could. up. You make me feel good, make me feel good when no one else could. You make me feel all is good, and all I need is you, baby. I
Okay, so the 10-minute timer has gone off, and as you can see, I didn't quite get it finished, but I got an idea of what I want to do, so it gives me a good starting point and some things to continue on with. So as you can see here, I was starting to automate some of the drum fills up just to add a little bit more power to those. So I probably would have continued on to do that through the song. But again, they're not major elements. These are just adding a little bit of finer detail to the song to give it a little bit more impact. And I probably would have applied that to both tracks. But again, I can continue that outside of the 10-minute mix challenge. But we've got the basics done here. So just to give you a run through of what I sort of did. So obviously here, this is not technically automation, but I'm going to consider it that because it's part of it, where I actually just chopped this audio track here and muted it. I could have obviously muted it in automation by actually creating an automation line for the mute, but there's no point doing that when I can simply just chop this audio track in half and just mute out the entire audio track. So I did that for this part here, which is this breakdown, just to thin it out. I just, because those lead parts happen quite a few times, I wanted to obviously break it up. So I muted that section there. I then also muted out, and this one I did do with automation because it's not as easy to chop this up. I muted out these electric rhythm guitars just to bring it back to these pseudo acoustics. I know they're called acoustics, but they're not quite. And they sound a bit more electric / acoustic. So we brought it back to some instruments there, took those away for that section. I changed some levels of some leads here. I didn't need to automate that because it was only one section, but I brought the level of that up. But I did automate this lead guitar here because this section here, he is still singing. So I dropped the level of the lead while he was still singing and then brought it up louder when he stops, and the lead becomes the replacement of the vocal. So I automated that to increase in volume. So we did that. As I said, the drums, I was looking at some drum fills and interesting parts to bring out, which I didn't quite get finished. That would have been good to have done. The bass guitar, similarly, I brought out one riff there. I probably would have liked to possibly gone through a bit more with the bass to find any other riffs that could be brought out to automate them up. And then the other main component, which is took a bit of time here, was I did some volume writing of the vocals, which again is not perfect. I would come back and tweak that a bit more to get a little bit more accurate, but I just wanted to try and level out those vocals a bit. They're a little bit up and down, so I tried to automate that. And because I wasn't quite convinced of that stereo delay in that quiet breakdown bit, it wasn't really selling me, so I actually muted that send in that section of the breakdown to stop the stereo delay from being there at all. Again, I'm still not convinced of the vocals in that part, so that would be something that would take a little bit more time and a little bit more playing and seeing what I like. But we've got the basics down and we've got some automation there. Like I said, didn't quite make it, but that's the point of the challenge, is to try and get as much done as you can and see how far you can go in the time allotted. And this is going to help you look for obvious things and speed up as we go. As I said, where I sort of stopped were not obvious things anyway, but they're things that I would like to do in the final version of the mix as I was doing it. So give that a shot in your mix, see how much you can get done in the 10 minutes, see what interesting things you can come up with automation for that in the allotted time. And hopefully this has been helpful. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.